welcome back to Live Dungeon and Dyslexia. I'm joined again with Alex T from Blackoath Entertainment. And I just said the daftest thing before we went live because the introduction video kicks in and I went, see you in a sec. And I don't know why I said that just before I started. So I've been put off by my own stupidity. So welcome back, Alex. It's great to have you here.
Likewise, thank you for having me again.
No, it's good. It's good. And you've brought out, well, obviously, we've got Choir of Flesh, which has been a gross, wonderful experience. and then you sent me Rift. I've forgotten the name, Riftbreakers, and you went, have I sent you this? And I was like, no, not yet. And so you might think this is a little bit. And I've actually managed to get a good chunk of reading on it today, and it very much and. I'm going to I nearly said this when we were discussing your shelves. It feels very much like 4th edition D&D.
Yeah,
I'm not saying it's a clone of it. And I don't mean it in that way, but it feels very much that more than
the 1st edition was much more for 4th edition of the D&D because the kind of abilities, how they worked and all that, it was exactly like D&D 4th edition. I mean, you had the daily powers, the encounter powers. It was the same. Here I changed it because it uses a more kind of a deck building system for combat, so that's gone. But I guess you can still smell the 4th edition all over it.
A little bit, yeah. And I also the other first impression I had was like it kind of, like say, deck building. It very much feels like this is gonna, like the CCG type players, I think, will like this, and because you've got the combat isn't gridded, which is a strange thing for you. Well, for the books I've read of yours so far, but it's done in just areas. I've got all this to show. So coming up, we're going to do Choir of Flesh first, and then we'll get on to Riftbreakers. But because you sort of. You worried me because you kind of went, I'm not sure whether this is the sort of thing you're going to enjoy, which is a really strange thing to say when you're being sent something to look at. And I was like, actually, I think this is the sort of thing, because I was a massive World of Warcraft player.
Okay.
And I'm not saying it's necessarily that, but
but it's definitely that. Yeah, I mean, that's why I had it in my head all the time when I was writing.
Oh, cool. So I think this would be quite easy to get into my group because we all played World of Warcraft for a long time.
Who didn't?
Exactly. Did you ever do any of the mega dungeons and stuff?
The raids and all that.
Yeah.
When I started off, and I started off with vanilla. I mean, in 2004 when the game was released.
Yeah.
So yeah, at the beginning I was a raider and I was playing there every single day religiously, and we did all the old dungeons and raids and everything. So yeah, later on I had a real life to take care of. So, but yeah.
See, I was with. See, it was that long ago. I was still with. I hadn't got married to my first wife, but I can remember my best mate. He went. There's 2 games coming out, and he went, let's buy City of Heroes, and I went, I'm going to buy World of Warcraft. And I think we ended up buying both because I remember playing City of Heroes for a bit and then going, this is terrible. I put World of Warcraft in, and then I think I was just off sick for the next week because I've been self-employed for years. I remember just not going back into work, and my wife, who was a teacher, was like, "Are you working today?" Yeah, I'm working. Just because I think I just remember that fond feeling of being the elf in whatever the land was called, and then just wandering out and discovering stuff.
So expansive. Exactly. It was a sense of discovery. You didn't have Wowhead and all these sites to check everything. I mean, there was no resources online, so it was just pure discovery and pure adventure. It's like, okay, let's see how far I can get without being killed. Let's explore this new continent. It was all I can jump into the water and swim. I mean, it was
swimming.
It was all mind blowing because it's just, for me, it was my only similar experience before that. It was with Neverwinter Nights. The first one we had our big private servers and all that, but other than that, I didn't really do any online gaming. So for me, it was absolutely mind blowing.
Yeah, I played Ultima one of the Ultima Onlines earlier, and then there was a Star one, a Japanese one that was you played like a spaceship type.
Yeah, Fantasy Star. Oh yeah, well, yeah, I did play Fantasy Star, but well, that was like it was more like lobby based. It was a bit different.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it wasn't that full
yeah.
World of Warcraft experience. But when you discovered your second flight path, and then you
Oh,
found that you could go from one place to another place
yeah.
quick. I say quickly, you had to just sit there doing this,
Yeah.
just flying across the
Or
screen.
take the boats or the Zeppelin and all that stuff. That was really mind blowing back then.
Yeah, it was amazing. But because I remember then we got our friends into it, and because it was the first 20 levels you were safe, weren't you? And all the horde were on one island, and all the
I was
alliance were on
Horde,
another.
so
Yeah. But
I
there
always
was
play Horde.
I can remember I wanted to play an elf, and all my friends were like the humans and stuff, and I had to take my like 20th level elf onto the other
and walk
island
all the
and then run all the way down that big forest,
Yeah.
Stranglewood Forest or whatever, which is
Yeah.
like a level 40 area, and I used to just die, come back to my body, walk another
Run a
5
little-
meters, die. Yeah, it took me about 3 days of physical playing to join them. So and then I had to go back to level up.
That was absolutely epic. Yeah.
It was. It'd be like, oh, we've got to go and kill these. There was like, I remember this one quest. We were killing deer, and we had to gain their hooves. So they got 4 legs, 4 hooves, and then they'd have a drop rate of something like 20%. You're like, where are their feet going?
Yeah. There was a similar quest on the Horde side with boars and hearts, and there was like, they don't have hearts. I mean, I've been killing boars for 2 hours. That didn't get a single heart.
No. And we put up with it, and we generally
definitely.
put up with it and lost hours of our life playing it.
Yeah.
So,
so that's my goal with Riftbreakers.
So now I'm really interested. Is if you made the loot tables really horrible and go right, just make it like blank, like for the first 20 rolls, so they get nothing.
No, I mean the first edition was much worse. Definitely. No, here you always get cool stuff, but you're definitely going to have to farm for your. If you want specific loot drops, you're going to have to farm for them.
Yeah.
That's half of the fun.
Yeah, the art style was amazing. Quickly, my ear trumpet has been struck by lightning. Thank you very much for generously donating a membership. So everyone else, welcome. We got a bit sidetracked talking about World of Warcraft. Not what we're actually here for. But now we've discovered that we can all buy World of Warcraft, the role-playing book, without the official license. Because actually, there was a D20 version of it.
Yeah, there was a third edition or a 3.5, whatever. Yeah,
and I was watching an auction on YouTube, and I was like, "Do I need these again? Do I need them?" Because I had them all, and they went for quite high money.
Yeah, they are pretty expensive nowadays. Yeah.
Yeah. So what have you been up to over the last couple of months? What?
So mostly wrapping up Choir of Flesh and preparing all the Kickstarter stuff and all that. And yeah, I mean, that's been the whole summer for me. It was what I call my summer vacation game, because generally I because of personal circumstances and all that, I can't, for the past couple of years, we stay home for the whole summer.
Yeah.
So I started last year my tradition of, okay, instead of doing my schedule work and continue with my planned releases, I'm going to do whatever the hell I want. And last year I wrote Salvage and Sorcery, which was just like me having fun. And this year it was the same. I said, okay, my summer vacation game is going to be Grimdark, proper Grimdark.
Yeah.
And that's how Choir of Flesh came to be.
Yeah, because you bang that out. You do work ridiculously hard, because we were talking about it. I think it's about 3 months ago you were on. And you were teased Choir of Flesh, and then it was finished about 3-4 weeks ago, I think, somewhere around there.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. But this one it was a bit of cheating, because the core rules are the ones are taken from Machine Gods. So there's that all core stuff I didn't have to rewrite. I just had to adapt it a little bit. And then the quite original part, which is how the injury system and no HP and all that, how all that works. I had that written already. I wrote that like at the start of the year. It was one of my just experiments. I just wrote a system, and I said, okay, I love this. I don't know what I'm going to do with it, but I'll find a place. And I thought it was a good fit. So I had those big elements already there, which that's like a month of work that it was done already.
Yeah.
And then, the tables, for example, the big chunk of the book, which is all the locations and all that, it's 100 different locations. 50 of those were written by Richard Kelly, which is my usual collaborator. I generally hire him when I can afford it. So that's a big chunk of the book that I didn't write. So yeah, that's why this one went a little bit faster than usual.
So I guess it makes it easier. Do you ever get, because I've been messing around working on, I've started writing 2 books, and I'm finding it really difficult to actually put what I'm thinking on to paper. So I was thinking of joining with someone and getting their ideas, but then I was like, but this is my baby. What happens if they firstly hate it, which is a possibility, because, you know, do you then just stop? But different people have got different tastes. But also, once you start sharing something with someone, they either will help you make it work, or they might change it dramatically. And do you know what I mean? Do you ever get stuff in and you go, I kind of like it, however,
it did happen before when I was collaborating with people, but it's different with Richard because I hire him to write specific amount of words. It's like, I need this, and he's an incredible writer. He understands game design perfectly, so he always does exactly what I need. So it's always a couple of notes. No, change this for this, but I mean, and he's incredibly hardworking too. Usually, I mean, those 50 encounters, which was, I think it was like 20,000 words, maybe. I don't know. He did it in 2 or 3 weeks. I mean, he's very fast, very committed to everything. Like I said, he understands exactly what I need very quickly. So it's fantastic to work with a person like that. So that's why I keep working with him. Also, we've already been working together for 2 years now. I hire him almost monthly lately, fortunately. So he understands what I'm going for, and it's a pleasure working with somebody like that.
Fantastic. I'm going to go and actually show all these 50 locations.
Well, it's 100 total. Well, I wrote 50. He wrote the other 50.
Yeah, the crazy bits. So basically, it's that
was the table. You passed the whole table.
No, I think let's actually explain the book first, because I'm forgetting that because everyone on this might not have watched my review or watched, because I've already reviewed this. So I'm going through the book like, I don't need to. So do you want to just summarize your gross vision of the turn of the last century?
Yeah, so the game takes place in the year 1000 of our current era, and which during that time there was a lot of apocalyptic fear, and in our real world, because it was of the turn of the millennia, and in the case of the game, well, those fears were warranted, because you had the sky suddenly open and the choir descended, and well, everybody praised the glory of God, and everybody was happy for the rapture to be taking place. But the thing is that there was a different kind of rapture. Everybody was changed in horrible ways, mostly mentally, but physically as well. The angels were these horrific creatures, deformed with. Well, we drew heavy inspiration from the Cenobites from Hellraiser for the angels. So they're like kind of Cenobites visually, and well, that's more a creature of the flesh. Yeah. So first you had the first apocalypse, which was the arrival of the heavenly host, but at the same time you had a second apocalypse coming, all the horrors from underground, the flesh that feeds, which is more like a primordial force that existed before even God existed. It's like the origin of everything in a way. It's the primordial chaos. It's the antagonistic to all existence. The antagonist, sorry. and so you have this force that just wants to consume everything and converts everything into flesh, all living things into a mush of living tissue and meat, basically just meat. So you have these two opposite forces which quickly devour the whole of Europe and possibly the rest of the world. You just don't know. And they meet in France where they clash, and you have this what is called the War of the Millennium, and you play as just a normal human trapped in between these two horrible forces trying to survive.
Using a D20 system as well, which is
yeah.
nice and simple. Which I'll go back to the book because I think that's the funny thing I like about this is like you've got the world going, yay, the angels are here, they're here to save us. Hold on, they're messing with our minds. Someone else is coming. Oh, it's coming from the ground. It's the devils. They're coming to wreck our bodies now. So yeah, your mind's screwed and your body's some turning into a gelatinous cube, basically, or whatever it may be. Do you ever play Vampire the Masquerade?
Oh yeah, that's one of my formative games when back in the 90s. Sure.
Brilliant, because I'm actually thinking when I was looking at some of this, my thoughts was like the Shimizi with all that body horror stuff of sort of ripping bodies apart, you know, trying to make everything look better, but through the eyes of madness.
Yeah, actually, that's a good reference. I didn't realize, but yeah, that's a good reference point.
So character creation, nice and simple. It's you're using your 6 stats: strength, dex, wisdom. I think everyone else knows the rest of them. I've done them in the wrong order, but so it makes it nice. And merits and flaws, feats and features and disadvantages and drawbacks in here.
Yeah.
But this one you've got more skills in as well.
Yeah, I added skills, which is actually this I stole from the book I'm writing for Machine Gods. The Advanced Rules book has all this skill system, and at the end it ended up appearing here before then in Machine Gods because it was, like I said, I had a lot of these things were just Machine Gods things that I just repurposed for this game. So yeah, this is a basic skill system which are they give you boost to specific checks and tests. So very simple.
Yeah. Machine Gods is a great game. It's a great game. Again, I need more time. I need what I need is a wealthy grandfather that I didn't know existed to come in and allow me just to play games all day. But I think isn't that everyone's dream now? We've all just had enough of doing proper work.
Yeah. Well, I can't complain, honestly. I love my
No, you're right. Weirdly, I do love my job. I just love this more. I didn't realize how much I dislike my job, but I don't, as in from a priority point of view.
Yeah. Comparing both things.
Yes, yeah, because the one thing this does differently to a lot of games is the sort of settlement phase where I kind of talked about it in the way that it feels like a civilization building game that is it becomes like a separate character that runs alongside it because you've got NPCs that you can find, you're gathering stuff, you've got to build specific buildings, and if you do them in the right order, it's a lot more beneficial when you build correctly. But you can build it in whatever order you want.
One really cool thing that emerged from the settlement, which is something I didn't expect, is that people I see them playing more like the settlement is the character and their characters are just because it's a quite highly lethal game.
Yeah.
So your characters tend to die, but they instead of saying, okay, I have to start all over, no, they just continue with the same settlement, taking another NPC which was around there and continuing the story with that character, which I absolutely love that people are doing that. So it's really putting the settlement at the center of everything, which kind of I built the whole gameplay around it because most of the activities you're going to be doing are just get resources so you can come back to the settlement and build it up or find new people to live there. So it's you can ignore all the settlement stuff if you want, but you're going to lose a lot of the motivation of why your character is doing the things they are doing, in my opinion.
You'd be wrong if you want to not do it. That's what you'd be. But it's a really good fun because I've got to be careful because I don't want to sound like I'm bashing on Free League, but there are certain other games that do better settlement building, and I think they make it a lot harder because of the amount of resources you've got to find, or the different types of resources you've got to find, and you kind of keep it nice and
I try to
streamlined and
streamline.
simple.
Yeah, that was a key element for me for this game. Try to make it interesting with a lot of different things, a lot of different procedures, but very streamlined. Everything as streamlined as I could make it. So yeah, the settlement is an example of that. It's something that moves forward every single time you come back to the settlement. You can build something. Something is happening. It's a very active part of the game. And another thing I really try to streamline while keeping the intensity is combat, because it takes place in a very tight grid, a 5x5 grid. It's injury based. There's no health, no health points, hit points, whatever. But it's very, very quick, very deadly, very quick, and it's over in 10-15 minutes tops, whatever you're fighting. So I'm very happy with how the combat turned out.
Yeah, it works well because you've got this random table here of random terrain, so it stops it just being a very boring 5x5 grid, because there's always going to be some structures there, things in the way. Clever players will use it to stop you getting surrounded, or you can gain advantage on certain.
It's also the fact that it's a tiny grid, so combat starts right away. I mean, it's not the typical skirmish game that you have to, the first 3 turns is just one force advancing towards the other. No, here the first turn you're already shooting at the opponent, moving. It's immediately from the first turn there's action going on, so it makes it very snappy and very, very quick to play.
Yeah, nice, fast variety of different spells you've got coming in, and random deployment as well, which is cool. Actions, I like the fact, well, we see this with a lot of games now. You go, you got your 2 actions and then like a reaction type thing where you just go move, fight, and then die. Normally random tables. We talked about this a few times ago, but this is effectively your hit point model, isn't it? Down at the bottom,
basically
here.
You can, as a player, you can endure 4 major injuries and 8 minor injuries, and each time you suffer a major injury, you have to roll on the corresponding injury effect to see, aside from marking it, you roll because something else is going to happen to you. And the minor injuries, what happens is that they slow you down, so they make the opponent, you become easier to hit, basically, which also speeds up the game, because there's never going to be this just drawing the combat to a stall, like I don't hit, he doesn't hit, I don't hit. No, here slowly characters become more tired, more injured, and it just ends up resolving itself one way or another.
Yeah, and then all that goes away at the end of the combat, apart from the major injuries, which will stay there. Well, depending on what major injury that you rolled, some of them aren't too bad.
Well, actually, all the injuries disappear. It's just the major injuries turn into trauma points.
That was it. Yeah, sorry. Yeah.
And then the trauma is what takes longer to heal. You usually can only do it at your settlement. There are consequences for. You see the consequences. Yeah. So the more trauma you have, the more fucked up you're going to be, essentially.
Yeah. I just call them injuries because how I play the game. I'm a terrible player. But this is the thing. I think I talk about this when I was doing my video of you of this book, and I can remember saying that I know I get a lot of rules wrong, and I get a lot of rules wrong when I'm games master in a game anyway. And it matters even less when it's a solo. As long as you're having fun and you're playing to some rules, then all I tend to do is go back at the end of it and I go, okay, that's the real rule.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the way to play it, I think. You just move forward, and then once you're done, it's like, okay, I'm going to check if I did. Oh, yeah, well, next time I'll remember. But that's the way to play solo. You just move forward the action, and it doesn't matter.
Yeah, unless you're recording it on camera, then someone's going to tell you you're wrong.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. In that case.
So, yeah, the internet never forgets.
Yeah.
So... this was quite a fun little bit where you've got 2 different touches of supernatural, where you can go to the heavenly people or the sort of devil people to get variety of different powers. But whatever happens, it's going to be bad. And the
Yeah.
more powerful prayers that you take, you're adding plus 50 to the roll. So you're sort of rolling on this
Yeah.
D100 table where the 100's a really bad thing.
Yeah.
So you can go for powerful prayers, but don't be too attached to your character, which is, I love that from playing a normal game, let alone when it's just you and you go, oh, I really need to pull this
Should I
off.
risk it?
Yeah. Yeah, because you're more likely to cheat when you're playing a solo game. Just being honest, you do. But you soon discover, like in a normal role-playing session, it's actually more fun not to cheat. Because we've all played those choose your own adventure books where you're holding loads of pages open to see what's going on, which is how I used to play solo games, because I don't want my character to die. But like you say, with this one, because you've got the encampment, it doesn't matter. I know you recently did a video with a really interesting session with Toby, who does 2D6 Dungeon.
Yeah.
And it's absolutely gutting when your character dies in 2D6 Dungeon because you've spent hours with your character. This one, I'm like, I don't care. Well, I do care, but I just then, here you go, Steve, you're promoted. You're going out. We need more wood.
Exactly.
Get out there. So
Yeah.
but
So
yeah,
with all the magic, my goal with all these systems is to make them fit into the lore. So of course, being a game based on a real world, even though it you have the apocalypse and all that, but I was thinking, okay, how can I ground magic system and make it fit into this kind of setting? Because somebody flinging fireballs and things like that didn't make much sense. So I thought, okay, uh, God and his angels are basically on earth. All miracles exist. The angels hear your prayers. So whatever you ask is going to happen.
Yeah.
But of course, I mean, it happens. And there's no check. It just happens. That there's always a price to pay. So the bigger the ask, the bigger the price.
Yeah, and
So
you can kind of play around with them, but there's some really good
yeah.
examples in here on things that you can do. And ultimately, there is no victory in this game. You are just going to die. It's more about
slow.
how long you're going to die.
It's a slow
survive.
decay. Yeah, it's a tough life.
which actually is something that we recently reviewed on our group team, Ashes Without Number, and Dewan said that he wants, when he plays post-apocalyptic games, he wants the world to get harder and harder. Because the problem with most apocalyptic is it goes the wrong way. Your world becomes easier.
Yeah.
Because as you find more resources and more people, you can build better defenses and stuff. And he's like, no, I want it to get tougher and be harder. And eventually you just die. And I forgot to mention he should play this.
I think that's the essence of Grimdark, having a world that actively is trying to kill you. And aside from all the morally questionable elements that are part of a Grimdark game or setting, I think it's that really big struggle against the world. Well, actually, yeah, you have there in the previous page my notes to get tips for a Grimdark experience. So yeah, the price of all these kind of things, it's always the personal struggle, and everything you're going to get is going to have a price, and you're going to have to make sacrifices, and you're slowly going to erode either your humanity or your sanity, or your until your character just gives up or it's eaten by something.
Yeah, you spend most of the time out either knocking down a stat, well, a counter, then, or adding it up, knowing that once it gets to 0, you're giving up your character, or once it gets to 20, you're giving up your character. So at least it feels different, because sometimes you count up to die, and others you're counting down. So it's clever. Clever is the way you did that. So I'm not going to worry about the game aspects, because there is a bit more to it, but it's in essence it's a D20 rollover.
It's a D20.
So we'll keep that simple, and then we've got all the rules for all the solo stuff, and the world. But what I want to look at is some of those specific items. So as you go on, you will discover clues and
rumors,
things and rumors, and then eventually you get to this bit, isn't it? Once you finish off your incursion, you will then get to No, sorry, that's it. What
Yeah,
the
once
incursion is? Like, yeah.
you
So
have
you
the points for
find the
all, which
clues.
is like
Yeah,
the overworld
yeah,
exploration, and then that leads up to the incursion. Yeah,
yeah. Which is basically it's a D8 mini game where
yeah,
you put down some places that are going to kill you, some places that might give you some nice stuff if they don't kill you. But more importantly, you get there's 100 of, and I'm only going to show one, but I'm not going to really spoil it. There's 100 of these locations, which what Alex was saying that you work with. Was it Richard? Did you say you work with?
yeah. Richard Kelly. Yeah,
Yeah. So we're going to just show there's 100 of these. I'm just going to stop here at random and just kind of cover one. So it will give you an idea of what's going on in the Corrupted Spring, details of it, and then you've got a variety of different adventure ideas or hooks or encounters. And if you're really lucky, then you get and you solve it, you get the reward. But I'm going to come off them because that is like the really cool part of
yeah.
the game.
That's the meat
So
of the game.
yeah. And when I did my first one, and I actually achieved, and I was like, I can't have done this right. I managed to do this. And
Yeah,
it's a really good feeling. It really is.
yeah. I think it's fun, and people are seem to be having a lot of fun because that tension of you have that limited number of actions that you can take while you're in an incursion, and if
Yeah,
you go over, you're dead. I mean, your character is dead. So you have to be very careful. It's like, okay, should I scavenge this, which is going to take another action, or should I just leave and check the next location to see if I find something better, or should I start running already towards the exit? Or so you have all this. You're constantly making decisions. So I
yeah,
think that's what makes it really engaging.
yeah. And especially because I do this so because I think if you played this with someone else, you can blame them if you make the wrong decision. Because we all do that in parties. You go, oh, you're stuck in a dungeon. Go, should we go left or right? And they go, and two people will go right, and you go, oh, I want to go left, and then no, let's go right, and then you get half the party dies or something, and you go,
Yeah.
see, I said we should go left. You can't do that on this experience because you're just kicking the dog.
Yeah.
I don't mean kick your dog, but you do have that whole. This is my fault. I've got to take responsibility for this.
Yeah.
And you can't just roll it backwards and go back like we did as kids. Where's next for this? Have you got anything new to come in? As I just show off some of the amazing creatures that are in here as well. So, and I love the fact that you do put art for every creature because
It's something I would love to do always, but it's just I can't afford it.
No.
So here, what I did with I asked Penny, the illustrator, to make it. If you see this, the art style for the creatures is different from the rest of the book because it's a little bit more sketchy, so it takes him less time to finish. So he charged me less, and that's why we have art for. But still, even though it's sketchy, I think the art is fantastic. So
yeah. It kind of looks like they're moving a little bit more and alive. If that makes sense.
It was more like this is like somebody sketching something what they saw a moment, some kind of whatever they're facing. So that was the idea.
It's like reaching down into someone's dead mind and just recalling their last memory.
Yeah, Penny is very good at that kind of things. He's just if you see his work, it's all absolutely deranged. I mean, he's all twisted creations. All he's such a incredible illustrator.
Yeah, because you're really specific over your illustrators, aren't you? And when you find someone you like,
yeah,
you stick with them, don't you? You don't.
Yeah, I spend a lot of time finding the right illustrator for each project, and I try always to have one person making the whole book, which generally slows things a lot. But sometimes, for example, Penny, he's just insane. I mean, he was finishing like 2 illustrations a day, which is nuts. When most illustrators take 1-2 weeks per illustration, he was doing 2 a day. He was doing 100% just focus on the project. So sometimes I get lucky, and that's another reason why this game came out so quickly, because I was working with somebody who works very quickly. It's the opposite with Kenneth Alas. I have like 3 books in preparation, and the reason why they take so long to release is because the illustrator is very, very slow. But he does an amazing job, so I don't mind.
Yeah. So where are we with? So can you pick this up on your website currently?
No. This is still not for sale because I just sent the PDF to the Kickstarter backers yesterday.
Yeah.
And the print on demand, they'll get the codes like next week. So the official release of this will be next month,
Okay.
probably early next month. And then I have during the Kickstarter campaign we unlocked a bunch of stretch goals, enough to make a little zine. So I'm going to release I called it Apocrypha. So it's like a collection of, it's mostly settlement stuff because people are really loving the settlement. So it's more tables for the settlement, more citizens, more buildings, more events,
Yeah.
some stuff for your characters too. And there's even a whole scenario with the arrival of the Nephilim.
Oh,
Yeah,
brilliant.
yeah.
Brilliant.
So
Yeah, because drive-through RPG confuses me because I've got my copy and my
yeah,
copy is locked out. I can't actually see the link to go and so it doesn't appear on drive-through RPG.
yeah, because
So
it's not for sale.
yeah. So I automatically assume that everyone can get it. So
No, next month, next month.
yeah, and it's so. Are you going to have any off-print copies left to sell, or was it all completely print on demand this one?
No, I made a 100. Well, they're still being printed. 100 deluxe copies. We
Yeah,
made it a bit like a prayer book. So it's going to be nice soft leather and very cool edition.
nice.
And
Do I get one?
just 100 of those. It's I will have a few left because we didn't sell. I think there are going to be like 10 left for
Yeah.
sale, maybe even less. So, like I said, it's just 100 copies, hand numbered, so you're getting one of the 100
Fantastic.
copies.
Yeah.
But yeah, most of them sold during the campaign.
Oh
So
no, that's good because people always go, oh, I'd like to have a copy, but from your point of view, you kind of want them all to go because you don't want to be holding on to stuff. There's,
yeah, of course,
you know,
definitely.
and there is that element. I know another one. I'm not going to say who it is, and he always does a lot extra, but he does quite a few conventions, so he does
Yeah.
them as like a giveaway at a convention or things like that. But in reality, book printing is expensive.
Yeah, and well, it's not only that; it's also
And then
storage. I
shipping.
mean, well, of course, the shipping is death. It's absolutely, and now with the tariffs, it's even worse. It's even though so far all these shipments I sent lately to the US, nobody has had to pay anything, because what they did is I shipped with DHL to the US, and they invented some new handling fee, which
Yeah.
I'm paying myself, but somehow that fee makes it so that the person receiving the book doesn't have to pay any kind of tariff,
Oh, that's good.
which is fantastic. So it's like,
Yeah.
okay, I'll pay the 10 euros myself, but at least people don't have to pay whatever 40 no 80 dollars, was it? Yeah, $80.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I think it's a good trade-off.
Yeah. I've had Kickstarters that my taxes have
Oh
been
yeah,
more
yeah.
than the actual book
Oh, that
itself,
that that
and
happens
it's
all the
really
time.
great.
I don't order scenes from the US anymore because shipping plus taxes, it's literally the double of what I pay for a zine, so it
Yeah.
doesn't make sense anymore. It's shit. But,
Yeah. It makes me cry because at this moment in time, I don't think I've ever had such a great month for Kickstarters. There's so many things that I want,
yeah,
and I'm struggling now to read PDFs. It was odd because when I first started the channel, I only read PDFs, couldn't read physical books.
mhm.
Now I can read physical books quicker than PDFs, so I don't want PDFs anymore. I want an actual book to read.
Yeah. I
And
I always prefer the book. Yeah, I just don't read PDFs.
no,
They just gather dust there, so I never bother buying PDFs
yeah,
unless it's something that I really want and it's only available on PDF. Then I bite the bullet. But generally, I always read physical books.
yeah. I can't. I don't know what you're like. I can't make Lulu covers because Lulu's a really good resource and it's not
Yeah,
actually that expensive in this country. But I can't do the covers, so they
it's
look
a
stupid.
gigantic pain in the ass. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
horrible. But that's the case with all print-on-demand books, which is the reason why I hired Glyn Seal to make all the covers for
right.
Amazon, for my books for Amazon and Drive RPG. It's all
Yeah,
him because I cannot be bothered with that. It's an absolute nightmare. There are a couple of books which were released only because he just says, "I'm going to do this," and he spends there hours, and I'm telling him, "Just drop it. We're not releasing this book," and he said, "No, I'm going to do this." Because
yeah,
sometimes, especially Amazon, they say, "No, this is not good enough," and they don't tell you why. It's like you just have to test. Okay, let's see if this works. Let's try it. No, well, okay, I'm going to try this other thing. So I don't have the patience. Unfortunately, I have Glenn there to do that kind of stuff.
Let's see if I can find it. Here we go. This was my effort, which isn't too bad, because I can't find this in the country anywhere. And
I have my copy somewhere here. Yeah, I love that book.
We'll just look how bad that looks. And the back cover has got nothing on it.
Yeah, it's a pain in the ass.
And
I admire people who can really make really nice looking books on Lulu and all that.
Yeah, the problem is you can't really read the inside thing. So it's one of those that it's a great resource, but you kind of need to put it through a company like Drive-Thru that sadly got a massive monopoly. But yeah, I'd love to be able to sort of have a few more. Well, I'm not even going to share that comment. Sorry, 3 Cups. I'm not going to get into politics. So I think it's well avoided at this moment in time. But we've got I think one thing that you've really done, and I don't know whether this was feedback from Kennethalus, and you can tell me just shut up if you want to. But one of the sort of criticisms I had, and I think other people had, is a little bit layout, but the appendix at the end, where with Choir of Flesh, you've put together that really good set of rules at the end, but you also then include it as a separate PDF that is easily available for your iPad, or you can just print off those pages.
Yeah,
which I think is because probably I wouldn't know. I haven't written anything. When you write something, you know exactly where everything is in the book, and you know where all the rules are and everything else. So I guess it's harder when you're speaking to other people to sort of...
Yeah, I had to learn all that the hard way by people telling me that it's confusing, they can't find things. And so, yeah, I try to add all that stuff as a separate, but I did that with Kernethalas already. It has its own rules reference document and tables and all that. All those, I think it's important to have. And I still have to do it for Riftbreakers is still pending. It's just a lot of work to compile that stuff, and I still have to upload the PDFs for Riftbreakers. But yeah, I try to do that with all my games, because there's always a lot of page flipping and different procedures. So it's good to have all the nice summary there, everything simplified and nicely explained.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I guess with Riftbreakers is the fact that, if you're going to go and write a 333-page rule book, your summary is going to be quite extensive, I'd imagine.
Well, the thing with Riftbreakers is it's mostly tables. I mean, it looks like it's a lot, but it's not a difficult game. It's just tables and tables to generate a lot of different regions, all the different rifts, all the enemies. I mean, the bestiary alone is like, 60 pages? I mean, all the tables to generate loot. It's mostly stuff that you don't need to either read or understand. I mean, you just used once as a reference, you check it, and then you're done. So
I absolutely, and I don't swear very often, shit myself when you sent me that on. I think it was. I was like, "Is there anything you want to share?" And you went, "Yeah, I've just got this new riff. Have I sent it yet?" And I went, "No." And so you sent it over, and I was like, 330 pages. And so I was going through it, and like you say, it's very, very simple, and there's a lot in there, but there's not too much, because let's say it's mostly tables, and picking your 2 different hearts that you start with, which is just let's get on to Riftbreakers now. 3 Cups has just said this, which is quite nice. So and I wasn't not deliberately sharing your thing. It's just that I've deliberately made a choice not to actively try and involve stuff, and sadly it's very hard not to when the tariff word is mentioned, but which is making us all cry. I think
it's been very painful
as
consumers.
It has. Right, so Riftbreakers. I'm just going to share the Kickstarter page, because I knew, again, I only discovered you through Fox Off RPG, and I picked up Machine Gods on a whim, purely going, don't judge a book by its cover. I did, and I think this looks cool, so I bought it, not realizing that you were the same person that Fox Off had already interviewed. I was actually watching an interview about it, and it's really good. Hold on, here we go. You're being compared to Frank Zappa.
Well, I appreciate it.
So this was a second edition, not World of Warcraft, but World of Warcraft
Inspired.
inspired. So when did the first edition for this come out then?
Oof, I think it was 3 years ago already. Yeah, 3 years ago. So I always loved the game, but the first edition was a bit of a mess. It was too many systems, not so well explained, things that were just not necessary and complicated for the sake of it. I mean, it was one of my first games still. So definitely my first time trying to make something like this, so randomly generated and trying to make everything on the fly as you play. So yeah, it was a little bit of a mess. So I managed to definitely streamline it a lot in this new edition and change a few things. And the core of the experience is the same as in first edition, but I think it's been greatly improved and streamlined. And so far, people are really loving it. So I'm very, very happy with it.
Yeah, cool. So what would you say, if there is anyone that's played the first edition, what would you say would be the best change you've made to it? And you're not allowed to say streamlining. You can use streamlining within the sentence.
Yes. No, the best change I will say, removing the ranks, because the first edition had a rank system. You had to be progressing through the ranks, but it was just a grind. It was just grinding for the sake of grinding. So I think it was a good idea to remove that and remove the limit to the hearts, because in the first edition you could only have 4 hearts and that was it. Now here you can learn all of them, so it gives you a huge variety of possible builds. And the thing that I'm loving the most, I think, it's the new combat, which is, like we commented before, we talked about it before, it's more like a mini game with deck building and all that, which you don't need to use cards, even though you have cards, optional cards you can purchase if you want, but you don't need them at all. You can just roll on a table. You make your own table, you roll, you draw your hand basically, which is just you roll 5 times at the beginning of the combat, and that's your hand, and that's your abilities. It's like a very simplified version of Magic the Gathering, basically.
Or if you haven't got any cards, go onto Temu, buy a pack of cards for 50p.
Yeah.
And then just write the name of the things on the cards, and then you've got that card thing.
Or
you can actually just go and get card sleeves. We've been doing this with mock Magic the Gathering cards for years. I don't do it anymore because I don't play Magic. But years ago, when we would, when you want to, we always played the
building
game
proxies.
Yeah. So, and I don't think a lot of people are aware of that unless you haven't been in a CCG environment, that you can just print off the stuff or even write them and then just put them in sleeves.
Yeah, that's a lot of people are doing that actually. A lot of people are just making their own cards and playing like that. Also, because you don't need that many, especially when you start off. You're going to have, I think, what was it? Your hand is 12 cards, and you start with 6, 7 different abilities. So I mean, you just need to make 6, 7 cards. That's it.
Yeah.
And then you just your deck is those 12 cards. You can have up to 3 copies of each of the same one. So yeah, if you want to make your own cards, it's not that complicated. But I'm very happy with how it turned out. People are really liking it more than I was a little bit afraid, because you don't see that many deck building combat systems in a traditional role playing game. So, but well, I took the risk. I wanted to do something a little bit different, and I'm happy I did, because it worked out. I think pretty well.
Just thank you, Agile. Thanks for a generous gift of 4 months membership there. There's let's show some of the cards, or should we show? No, let's do the book first. I think that would make more sense, because this is actually on DriveThruRPG now. I did check, and you can get everything on there, can't you? And you can get printed copies and stuff on DriveThruRPG. And do you have any off-print copies of this?
Or... No, this is only print on demand, both on DriveThruRPG and Amazon.
Okay, cool. So obviously you're going to want to get it on DriveThruRPG and use my affiliate link. That's someone actually. Someone did a really big order on DriveThruRPG the other day. That came through on my affiliate link. It was really weird. I was like, it jumped up like $10
That's
in
nice.
a day, and it was like, wow. Yeah, they spent $300 odd on
Oh
Drive
wow.
for RPG, and what annoys me is I can't thank anyone because it doesn't tell me who it is to thank. So, which I'm guessing probably Data Protection Act. But it would be just really nice just to, do you know what I mean? Go and tell them and just sort of say thank you. So for for everyone that does use my affiliate link, it is incredible. But let's just look at the front cover and then get into the book, and then I'm going to show these cards and stuff that are wonderful. So I think what we got here. We've got some combat ability cards, and because they're all in different hearts, I think, if I've managed to get the game. And the hearts, in essence, are that you've got combat
kind
cards,
of classes,
non-combat cards.
Yeah.
And every character starts off as a blank slate.
Yeah.
Classless, effectively, and then the hearts are classes in essence, as you've said. So yeah, that's good.
Yes. So you start with a couple of them, and then you pick 6 different abilities from those 2 you start with, and then while playing you will loot new ones, because here all progression is driven by looting. You kill stuff and you loot, and you get new gear, new hearts, new abilities, everything.
I've been told off. I've got to show the book first. Oh, Techno's now saying that it was him. In that case, it was me. Well, thank you for the $300 order. So here we've got the 322 pages of Warcraft adjacent game, which I did not know what to expect going into this book, and like I said, I was in a little bit of emotional trouble, thinking I'm never going to get this read, and it was actually a complete and utter breeze, because all
most
of your
of it
books,
you don't need to read.
You don't need to read a lot, because most of your books you've got like this huge chunk of beastry here. Loot tables you don't need to read, because you read one and then you're not learning the game.
You're going to spoil the game anyway if you read all that stuff. So.
Yeah, crafting. I was like, oh, there's a crafting section in here. This is very much the Witcher, the role-playing game, but without the thousands of items that you need in that.
Yeah, you see that's a problem that first edition had too. The first edition of Riftbreakers had a million different crafting ingredients, and it was impossible to make anything. Because on top of that, it was all loot based. So it's like, okay, I'm missing this one item to craft this thing, and I'm never going to get it because it doesn't drop. Here, it's so much more streamlined, and you can actually craft stuff.
Yeah, that's my big issue I've got with that Land of Eam, which looks like a really good book. I've gone through it, but the crafting is you kill a specific fish, it gives you a specific fish type item.
Yeah,
so, and that might not be useful for anything. So in essence, D100 system, roll under. We don't need to explain that. That's simple. And you've got easy tests. You do what they do with Warhammer now, Fantasy Roll, but 4th edition, where if it's an easy test, you get a plus 20 to it, or whatever it may be, which is another way of making things easier. Then you've got skills with specific stuff. So I'm not going to explain the D100s. This is the hearts. So, and again, this is, I looked at this first bit and I was like, okay, what's that? And then I got to the next one. And so, okay. So you've got combat and non-combat abilities, which are going to basically be the cards that we're going to look at when we look at the cards.
Yeah.
And that's it. And so
there are 12 different cards, and you just match them as you want. That's the fun of the game. You can make a character launching fireballs while wearing heavy armor and resurrecting the dead, or somebody using frost spells and summoning elementals, or I don't know, stopping time, reversing the flow of time, being all the tropes from fantasy. This is my vanilla game when it comes to type of setting and all that. So all the traditional high fantasy tropes, you're going to find them here.
And it's really simple, which so you did upset me when you sent me this. But it's you're looking at like the blade heart. I think it's because it was the heart word that initially confused me, and then I went back and I kind of got it. And Yeah, so the non-combat abilities, you get cards for the non-combat abilities as well, don't you?
No, actually
No?
no,
Okay.
because no, the cards are the card game, the mini game for deck building, all that. That's only
Just
on
combat.
your that's only for combat. The non-combat abilities, if you learn one of them, they're always available to you. You just use it. That's it.
Okay, perfect. I didn't notice the death heart when I went through it. Can I be a necromancer?
Yes, definitely.
I want to play this now, isn't
Obviously.
it? Well, no, because some death things don't actually deal
Well,
with as in because when we
yeah,
talk about death, it's not always bringing back the dead, or as
yeah,
I
but
call it,
what's
healing the
the
recently
point?
deceased.
What's the
Yeah,
point?
yeah. So and normally you have to be an evil character. I've started a campaign on Draskara. Zane Daniels is running it on my YouTube channel on a Monday and every other week, and I've created a good necromancer as my backup character, and I'm so desperate for my first character to die so I can play the second character, and because it's Shadow Dark, I'm hoping it's going to be quite easy.
Yeah, I've been there too, making a
Yeah.
cooler backup character than the main character.
Yeah, it's not how I intended it at all. It's just as you get into your second character, you go, actually, this is I much prefer
This
to play
looks
this.
fun.
Yeah, and Zane went, I don't want him to play that character. So I'm just going to run into as many combats head on and try and get myself killed, and then see how he deals with it. So this bit I thought was quite cool, where obviously in the creating your character, when you get into appearance, you can go, you can look normal, or do you want some weird alternative head, like a beak or a snout? And I guess this is to represent other races and stuff.
Yeah. So my games are always human centric, but like I said, this one is my vanilla everything goes game. But instead of having traditional, I mean, the default is always going to be humans, and the thing is that you play as a stranger, somebody who's been brought to the land of Caither. So you are not a native. All natives are all 100% humans.
Right.
So you come from some other place, you don't know where, you don't remember anything about your past. So you can end up being you can be a regular human, or you can be some weirdo, however you want to like to, with crystals or feathers and whatever you want.
Yeah, head
So-
body type person.
So if you want to make a dwarf looking character, you can make it. If you want to make an elf looking character, you can make it. Or if you want to make a creature with beak and crystals and scales or whatever you want, you can make it as well.
So if you want to bioluminescent markings all over your body in orange, this game's for you.
Exactly.
It's skill based as well. So
Yeah.
your skills actually just add. This is very much feels a bit Kernethelus in mechanic wise.
Yes.
Where
yes.
you get a certain amount of skills and at certain levels. Yeah.
Yes, that's my core D100 system, and yeah, that doesn't change. That's the same.
Yeah, it's your favorite system, isn't it, D100?
Yes,
Yeah.
and actually, moving on, except a couple of things that I already have written. For example, the second edition for Sacrifice, it's half written, and that one uses a D20 system. But everything new I'm working on and I'm going to release is going to be all in my own momentum engine, which is a new D100 system I'm using, which is the evolution of this with a couple of tweaks, make it a little bit more narrative here and there. But yeah, from now on, I'm only going to release D100 systems. Because
carry on then. Tell me more about the momentum system. I'm just going to be quiet now.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of D20 systems. I've always been a D100 person. I love all the Chaosium games, Rollmaster. I mean, those are my what is closest to my heart. Warhammer. That's always been my favorite kind of rule set. But the advantage of D20 is that everybody knows it. Most people who play role-playing games are going to know and understand how D20 systems work.
Yeah.
But there's a big problem with that, and is that it brings a lot of expectation. And the second you deviate a little bit from that expectation, people don't like it, or they complain, or they find it weird. So I just got tired of people complaining how my games are not exactly like D&D, because I like trying different things and all that. So I just said, just fuck it. I'm just going to write my own system, and all my games are going to be on my own system. And yeah, you can compare it to how it's done in Call of Cthulhu, whatever you want, but it's completely different. You're not going to have that close linked, like with machine gods, is like, okay, you can directly compare it to Dungeons and Dragons or to any retro clone or the D20 system. I'm hoping that's not going to be the case with my momentum engine. And yeah, so moving on, all my games are going to be D100. I know it's a bit disappointing for a lot of people, but it's what I enjoy the most, and it's going to make my life much easier and give me a lot of peace of mind, because sometimes it's very frustrating because
So,
telling people, I mean, having people telling you how your rules suck and how something is stupid because it's not exactly what they expect is quite hurtful as a developer. So I
actually,
prefer to get rid of all that.
yeah, I'd love to say I can't believe people are that rude.
Oh yeah, yeah. You have no
Uh,
idea. Yeah.
no, I'm really weirdly privileged. Whether it's the fact that not enough people watch my channel, but in the year and a bit I've been on, I've had 2 negative comments ever.
No, of
So,
course.
but
I mean, most of the
no,
people
but
are
I do
extremely
hear
supportive, and
that people do say some outlandish comments. I wouldn't think of even. So I'm not a massive fan of the free league system, and I
neither am I.
wouldn't, and I would never go to a convention or send them an email or a Facebook message going, quite frankly, I think Forbidden Lands is a crock of shit. Do you know what I mean? Because just because I don't enjoy it doesn't mean other people
Yeah,
don't like it.
it's a very
There's
stupid
nothing
thing
wrong with
to
the
like.
system. It's just I don't like rolling d6 and trying to get
Yeah,
a 6 on it.
yeah,
So yeah, just seemed really weird that people would be like that.
yeah. People take rules very personally, especially when it's D20 systems, because it's like one of the core pillars of role playing games in general. So when you deviate, when people have expectations for a system and you deviate and you do something that is unfamiliar for a lot of people, it's like a personal insult.
Yeah,
Well, not a lot of people, but some people. Fortunately, I'm telling you, it's from, I don't know, maybe I get 50 comments on a game, maybe it's 5 saying this is shit.
yeah, yeah.
But I don't want even those 5. I was like, okay, why am I doing this? I don't really enjoy writing D20 systems. I don't play D20 systems. I'm just going to do what I want. It's my game, it's my company. I'm going to do whatever I want.
Yeah,
And
definitely. And you'll be able to sell them in the bucket loads in Japan because they don't do D20 systems in Japan, do they? The most
yeah,
popular game out there is Call of
well,
Cthulhu.
not only in
So
Japan, it's basically the whole Asia.
yeah,
Asia is the same in China and Indonesia. I think most of Asia, they just prefer Call of Cthulhu and the 100 systems. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
So
So what specific are you doing with the momentum system? Is there anything you can talk about now that's going to be, because you say
yeah,
it's your own system that's going to be sort of more unique?
no, I mean it's the evolution of what you see here in Riftbreakers and Carnathalas. It's just I'm adding an additional mechanic aside from rolling the D100. I mean, die or dice. You have the core. One of the core mechanics is the momentum mechanic, which is kind of a push your luck mechanic. You have a pool of momentum points, which you can choose to either influence before you make the check to give you a boost to your skill, because it's always going to be momentum engine. It's always going to be skill based.
Yeah.
So you can just get I can't remember right now, it was plus 10 plus 20 to your check. You spend 1 point, and it gives you that simple thing.
Oh, so you're basically
or,
spending points to make skill checks easier.
or you can do it after. You can spend 1 momentum point to make a reroll, but if you reroll, then there's a consequence.
Yeah.
So depending on whether, if you succeed, there's certain kind of consequence, not so bad, but if you fail, there's even worse consequence. So you have to say, okay, do I spend momentum before I roll and to make sure I'm going to make it, or do I risk it and spend it later to get a reroll? So that's one of the core elements. And then the second element is the addition of a narrative die, which is a D12, which you roll at the same time. So when you make a check, you roll D100 and a D12 at the same time.
Okay. The
So
best die.
yeah. So what the D12 does is describes how the action takes place. So it's like it adds that, gives you that. Is I think it's useful for a solo player because it gives you that narrative push. It tells you, okay, I succeeded. Depending on the role, that's something I'm still working on. But depending, it's either going to be because of how skilled you are, based on your circumstances, or based on the circumstances that are taking place while you make the check. So that's going to help you interpret the role. So I think so.
Cool.
Those are like the two little core elements that aside from all the elements you've seen in, like I said, in Kernathalas and Riftbreakers, all
Yeah.
those skill based. I'm leaving open where I'm going to use because I really like I said, what I did with Choir of Flesh, the injury system and the grid system. I'm debating whether that's going to be part of the core momentum engine, but most likely I will leave those elements a bit more open because I like to change things and adapt the rules to each game. So I like to
Yeah.
have a little bit of leeway and freedom to decide. Okay, this rule fits better for this game because of this kind of setting. This other rule fits. So those kind of elements, I'm still. I think I'm going to leave them open. But yeah, the core parts is D100 skill base, the momentum pool, and the narrative die. Those are like the four elements for my momentum engine.
Yeah. So I'd like to announce the official launch of Kernathalas in 2027, second edition in the momentum system. So
It will happen sooner or later, yeah. And actually, I'm already working on a new game. Well, it's not new. It's the second edition of my skirmish game, Warlord Ascendant,
mm,
which is my skirmish game set on the same universe as
Kernathalas, yeah.
no, not
Oh,
Kernathalas,
not.
Sacrifice.
Oh, okay.
Sacrifice. Yeah. Actually, the first edition of Warlord Ascendant is compatible with Sacrifice,
Yeah.
but this new edition it's using the Momentum engine, so it's a different beast altogether.
Yeah. So that's
But
going to
yeah,
be the first one that comes out then.
yeah, and
When you,
then I'm considering, yeah, like you said, eventually I would like to re-release all my games, but right now it doesn't make any sense to do it for Kernathalas because it's in a good place. Resetting the whole line only it's what, year and a half, 2 years since the game was. It's too early to make a second edition. It's a as a consumer, I will fucking hate that, so I'm not going to do that.
what you're gonna have to do is a 1.5. So it's never gone bad for Wizards of the Coast. Whenever they've done a new edition based on the same rule set, it's
I'm actually working on a revision. I mean, using the same. Nothing is changing in the rule book. I'm just working on a revised edition, which is going to be a free upgrade for everybody. It's not going to be a new release or anything like that. It's just an update. I'm reworking and rewording some of the things which could have been better explained. For example, the procedure to opening containers and checking for traps. So that's something that's been always confusing for everybody, and I admit it's not very well explained. So I'm reworking all that to clarify it. I'm rewording a few things. Just basically, I'm making the book a little bit more usable and the rules a bit more clear because, like I said, it's been 1.5, 2 years since the book was released. I've gotten a lot of feedback, a lot of feedback. So there's a couple of things that I think I can improve, but it's going to be the same game. Nothing changes, no rules changes. It's just a small enhancement,
clarification and stuff.
Yeah.
Cool. So back to Riftbreakers.
Yeah, we had this break into.
Well, you threw up something I wasn't expecting, so I've got an inquisitive mind. I can't help myself. So
yeah, I'm happy to discuss whatever. So
no, cool. So the paths are this. I was like, okay, the paths, and I went, I get this. These are achievement points, like in an MMORPG type thing, where if you kill 800 people, you get a bit of experience or whatever it may be, or a reward, isn't it? This is how this works.
This is another thing that I really streamlined compared to the first edition, which was just this gigantic list of achievements which you had to be tracking. Is like, okay, I killed this. Let me check the list. Oh, I did this. I ticked this one. And so it was very, very confusing. So I thought, okay, how can I organize? I like the idea of achievements. It's very, very MMO. And I thought, okay, how can I streamline this and make it a little bit more focused? And yeah, that's how I came up with the paths. You pick a path, and those are the achievements you are working on. You unlock those, and then once you finish a path, well, you don't even need to finish it. You can just say, okay, I'm going to pause this path, and I'm going to jump to this other path. And well, in each time you complete an achievement, it gives you something, and then when you complete the whole path, you get this big ability or something
So
special.
that's the one, at the bottom.
Yeah.
And these are permanent abilities, aren't they? The way
Yes,
I was reading it,
all
yeah.
these things. Yeah, all these things are fixed.
Yeah,
Fixed
yeah. So skills and
improvements.
combats and stuff. Is obtain a total of, is that money? A is money?
Yeah, yeah.
Right. Okay, yeah.
Etherite.
Right, cool. So this is what it's saying. This is the Warhammer sort of
Yeah.
easy table. And I'm not saying that it's stolen from that, I don't mean like that, but Cthulhu does it in a really, I don't like the way Cthulhu does it. It's go, I'll make a difficult check, half your skill. Makes a really hard check, divide it by 4.
Yeah,
It's
no,
an impossible check, divide it by 800,000.
This is much simpler.
Yeah, it is. And without, obviously, the success levels that can be a little bit annoying in Warhammer 40's fantasy role play.
Yeah.
If you're not playing on a VTT. If you're playing on a VTT, it's perfect. Because there's a lot less maths. Usage dice again. You love your usage dice, don't
I
you?
love them. It's a brilliant mechanic, and I milk it as much as I can.
Yeah. I think it was probably you that introduced me to that. I've been in this hobby for 30 odd years. Didn't know what a usage dice was. Didn't have a clue.
Yeah, because it's very underused. I mean, before I started using it, the only use I see for usage die was, well, it was invented by the Black Hack, and it was only used to track inventory stuff. It was to track torches and all that. And I said, this is a brilliant idea. People are using clocks and things like that, which it's annoying for me to use clocks to track events and all that when I'm playing solo, because you have to decide when you're ticking. It's like, okay, now is when I kick this happened. No, with the usage die, you just make a check and it's like, oh, it happened. The die change went down in the chain, so it's less of a mental loadout for you. It's 1 point less of decision making, which for me is one of my core design principles as a solo player. The less decisions you are making that rule over what happens to your character, I mean, the less you take the role of the GM, the better. That's always one of my goals when I'm writing a game. So I always try to take the load off of the player, and so they can immerse themselves into the game and not stop and like, okay, what happens to my character here? No, the game, the rules should tell you that. So I think usage die helps towards that.
Yeah, definitely. And this is what I was saying about right at the start about the zones.
Yeah.
So combat is just in that. You're just going to sit in whatever zone you're in. Like those. Do you ever play any of those card games where you're 1 versus 1, like Street Fighter equivalent card games, where you just stand close? You can move your cards closer to each other and things like that.
I remember the only thing a bit similar to that was the one that Valve released. And or Legends of Runeterra had the League of Legends game.
Yeah,
that one had something like that, I think, maybe. Yeah, but
yeah,
you have your lane, and you move around.
This feels a little bit like this, where you can just, wherever you get into, will determine what card you can play and what ability, because it's just going to determine your zonal range.
Yeah,
because I zones I don't like. It's for me, it's like the worst part of Modifius's 2D20 system, and there's a variety of the companies use zones, but this is nice and simple because this isn't doing that a role-playing game is doing. This is
basically a grid but simplified. Instead of having different positions, different whole grid, you have 4 positions. So you just, it's a fixed thing. Is the problem with ranges like that, like you're saying, is that it's always relative to.
Yeah.
But here is not. Here you have this 4, and that's it.
Yeah, this is exactly like they do it in the One Ring from Free League. But it's done on like a circular thing. So you've got a bit in the middle, and then you can go out and stuff. So this is how to do zones. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I like it a lot. Yeah,
you just keep it all simple in that way.
Yeah.
Okay, healing and death. Don't need to worry about healing and death because no one's going to die. Companions surprised me. I didn't expect to see companions in.
Oh yeah, that's a cool. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with how they turn. This is also another thing I cleaned up from the first edition, because in the first edition you had combat companions and non-combat companions, which were basically like items. They just gave you buffs for skill checks and all that. So here I just simplified. I made everything. You have companions. They give you can use them for this kind of things when they're in combat, and out of combat they give you these other things, and much simpler like this to keep track.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
of course, they have their different roles. You have tanking, DPS, healing companions, because of course, it's
Got to
a
have
MMO.
different types of companions. So yeah. um, three of cups has just said it. He saw it in a video RPG called Vagabond, where they use the usage die for status effects. So I
Yeah,
don't know.
people are starting to be a bit more creative now with usage type. But I'm telling you, it was like at least 5 years nobody did anything but to track
Yeah.
torches. It was just torches and rations. That's it. No other use for, or well, and arrows, of course.
Yeah.
That's it. That was the only usage for usage die. And I said, no, this is brilliant. It needs to be used everywhere.
I actually forgot to mention that you do the cool bit with your art, and I probably shouldn't have just turned over a page now. Hold on, let me just. I really like black and white art
No.
with one color in it, and every piece that I think that I've seen so far has
Yes.
got is this throughout the book, which is
Yeah,
really
there are two
good.
which are black and white. All the rest, and there are, I think there are 65 pieces in this book,
Yeah,
illustrations, and all of them have that touch of color. I can't take credit for this. This was the illustrator that said, "This is how I like to do it." And I said, "Yeah, sure, that sounds cool."
yeah, no, it's really
would
good
have let.
style. It really stands out above a lot because black and white is what we're used to.
Yeah,
Because I don't get me wrong, I do like color art, but I appreciate it costs a lot more, printing, variety of other stuff.
yeah,
But just one little bit of additional color is really quite nice.
yeah. It pops out like that. It's a
Yeah,
nice way of making something. It draws your eyes immediately to that element.
yeah. So we've got Thor. Is that
Yeah,
pronounced?
Kather. Yeah, Kather.
So this is the world setting. So do you want to just, as I sort of go through the next few pages, just sort of explain what's
Yeah.
unique about this world, or how high low fantasy where we are?
Yeah, well, Cathar is not the world itself. This is just the peninsula where you find yourself in. So the thing
Okay.
with the setting is that there's this you have this peninsula which had this big ancient city that's been there forever. Nobody knows who built it. It's it's been there for ages, and you had a lot of different. Yeah, that's the map of Glyn Seal did it, and you have that. You used to have a lot of settlements all around, but then was this strange event where. Um, like portals to different realities started to open and pouring all types of monsters and killing everybody. The whole peninsula was devastated, so everybody just gathered into the behind the walls of this city, which is called Cargelos. And because for some reason monsters do not enter this ancient city, so the few survivors managed to gather there. And then with the arrival of the rifts a little bit later, uh, the strangers started to appear, and you play as, like I said, one of these strangers. There are people who suddenly appear in the ruins of an ancient labyrinth, which is somehow connected to the city of Cargelos. It's always been there. It's a strange and shifting labyrinth that nobody knows why is there or what's its purpose. So you appear there. Actually, the scenario that comes with the book, you play your way through the labyrinth until you reach the city, and so these new strangers that appear, they have some kind of connection to the rifts. They have these powers because magic didn't really exist in this setting before the strangers appear. So you have all these powers and all this ability to loot the corpses of the enemies and get items from them. And so all this is how this layer of magic and high fantasy is included into the setting. So you just play as somebody fighting against all the horrors that come out from and monsters that come out of the rifts. And the core of the game, well, it has two phases, which will be like the first one is exploration and doing different kinds of quests all around. You can do patrol, monster hunting, just gathering different crafting ingredients for different quests. And the actual meat of the game will be getting into one of these rifts, which are of course randomly generated. There are 8 different kinds of rifts. It can be a underground area. It can be like lava fields. It can be a desert. It can be floating islands. Yeah, it's all this pages you're showing right now.
Yeah.
So you go there. They're all randomly generated, and the goal is to find the Rift Lord, kill it, and that way the rift closes, and stop spitting out monsters.
Okay, so basically, let's use this as an example. So, does it come with a hex crawl map, or
Yes.
it
Yeah.
does?
Yeah.
Did I notice that in the thousands of things that I was
It
downloading?
should be
There
around.
we go.
There it is.
I'd actually missed there was hexes on this.
Well, maybe. Oh, yeah, this is the hex version.
Yeah,
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 because
no, I can
there's
see
one
'em.
version with, and there's the version without it.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
and of course it's randomly generated. So the hexes you just roll each time you enter a hex. You have different features, different stuff.
Cool. So you start here. This is where
Yeah.
you're teleported into.
Well, actually, you see the labyrinth is somewhere there.
Oh, right.
So
Yes.
you start there. Then the scenario takes you to Karhelis. So the Karhelis is the capital. Is your base of operations. So all the missions and everything you're going to start from there, and that's why it's quite good to play West March's style of game with Riftbreakers, because you always have this capital there, and you can have different groups doing different things. So it plays very well in a West March's style campaign.
Wow. That's really cool. We just got a shit. I think that's the first time anyone's ever sworn.
That's a
In
person in the Blackoath Discord making a Foundry module. He's almost done. So if anybody's interested, they can just drop there and take it.
Oh, brilliant. Brilliant. Right. We're all in love with this now. So when they discover a rift, let's get this right then. So for example, so you'd roll, I'm guessing you've rolled a D10 or a D12, whatever it is.
No, there are 8 different ones, so it's a D8. Yeah.
Okay. So you then just describe the rift to him. This players, you're just going to roll the D20 to get the type of rift.
Yeah, each rift has some unique rule, like this one is bothersome crossing. So each time you generate a new, because there's a, when you enter a rift, you have this grid map, blank, of course. You enter at the center, and you have to determine if there are connections to the different areas. So it's kind of like generating a dungeon, but only a different structure.
Yeah.
So yeah, well, you have different rules for each kind of rift.
I didn't download the rift. The background.
Well, it's just a grid with squares. It's a very simple thing.
Yeah, so it's a bit like the final encounters then bit as well in Quara Flesh.
Yeah, but it's much larger, and this is all randomly generated. You don't have so many pre-written elements. This is you're going to have to combine different tables to generate what you encounter.
Okay, and then you'll do a variety of encounters here, and then this is like a D10 of this is what we're saying about the big boss monster that they're trying to fight to defeat.
No, each kind of rift has its own encounter table. So yeah, there are 10 different.
Okay. So we've got more tables to come.
Yeah. So you have 10 unique enemies for each rift. So that's why there are 80 for rifts, and there are more in total. There are around 90 enemies in the game, something like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, you have 10 for each rift, and then the Rift Lord is going to be one of these, but changed and improved. They get their own actions. They are like mutated by the rift itself, so they can draw powers from the rift itself. They have they have like unique moves. So they will have the core moves are going to be what the type of creature they are, but then they are going to have all this unique stuff because they are the Rift Lord.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So landmarks, and then we get into crafting, which is you new and improved, without saying streamline crafting.
Yeah, it's much easier to use right now, I think.
Yeah.
It's you gather ingredients and you combine them and make items. Yeah, you have cooking also. That's something that was in the first edition. I had cooking. So when you kill a creature, you can grab the ingredients and cook stuff with it, which gives you buffs.
Cool. Can you change weapons as well in here? Like boost weapons?
Of course. Yes, of course. You have magical weapons. You can craft them, loot them. Yeah, I mean, whatever you want. You can use no weapons if you want. If you have your build can be pure caster and not use a weapon at all.
Yeah,
I mean, whatever you want.
Okay, so identifying magic items, something we're all really bad at. In fact, you find a magic dagger and you just tell them what they do. Selling items, crafting in here. monster tables, okay, and then other magic items. So there are just so many tables, and then it's about 100-page bestiary in here, wasn't it? I think.
Yes.
Somewhere
Yeah,
around
it's basically 100 pages. Yeah.
So let's just
Yeah,
pick a
because
let's just pick it.
each one of them has its own action table, so that's why it's such a large bestiary.
Yeah. So there's no level change that you get like in Machine Gods in this, then.
No, they scale based on the number of players.
Okay.
That little, yeah. So they get 1 action per player.
Okay.
And this one gets 16 health per player. So
okay. Right. So that's what that means. I love the fact you do this. I know I always compare it to Dragonbane, which feels a bit rude because you did this before Dragonbane came out.
Yeah.
But
No, I stole from Forbidden Lands, actually.
Right. Okay.
That was the first time I saw that, and I said, "Oh
Yeah.
man, this is so." The thing is, Forbidden Lands doesn't do it for all enemies; they only do it for like the big monsters.
Yes.
And said, no, this is perfect for solo, and all enemies should have this. So I stole it from there.
Yeah. No, it's really good mechanic.
Yeah,
and I don't know how you think of it for each of the creatures, because you've committed to 4 for each creature regardless, haven't you?
Yeah, it's a lot of work. This is what took me the longest. It's just a lot of fucking work.
Yeah. Was this all of you as well? This is
Yes.
every
This book
table...
is, except the scenario at the end, everything else. Yeah, this was Richard who wrote it. This scenario, this 8 pages, something like that, 12 pages. But the rest of the book, it was all me. Most of the year I've been working on this. Honestly, it's taken me quite a lot. And considering it was already based on the stuff I had for first edition, it took me longer than I expected, because I ended up changing a lot of things, improving a lot of things, and adding a lot of things.
Yeah. No, I'm not going to share the. I'm not going to share the scenario. I don't kind of want to see that. It's not that I don't want to see it. But
yeah. You don't want to spoil it.
Yeah. I don't want to spoil it, but this is giving you an idea of the options. Obviously, hardback, softback covers, and things like that. As long as PDFs included at the same price, which is cool. But this is what I opened up when the other bit you sent to me. So if you got the core rulebook here, and then the 1-zip file contains, I think there was about 7 or 8 different maps.
Yeah, it has a lot of sheets and maps,
and then there's other sheets and stuff in here. There's just so much. It's mad. That's what it is. It's absolutely crazy just how much you've managed to throw into it. Where are we now? There. I'm always paranoid when I'm showing something that I'll go and close the stream off. I've not done it yet. I haven't managed to do it yet. So you say alongside... No, it was Quara Flesh that's got the additional book to come. So this is now done. It's out.
Yeah. Yes.
Print on demand, obviously, is available. Where's next for this? Because this you told me I wouldn't like this almost in that amount of words.
Yeah, I really thought you wouldn't like it, honestly. Yeah, I thought it would be a little bit too light and, I don't know, too convoluted. I don't know, just...
I think to get the best out of it, I didn't show the cards, did I? It's agile.
Yeah, the cards really speed up things. It's agile
because he basically told me I wasn't allowed to show the cards till after. So here is it doesn't say which type of heart this is.
Yeah, it says up there. This is the arcane. So each they are sold separately, because I thought of, you have a bundle, you can get all the cards if you want, but since you don't need all the cards, you can say, I'm never going to play with the Devastation Heart, I don't care about it. You can just pick the cards or the decks you're going to use and play with those.
That's what I was looking for, is the arcane thing. Okay, cool. So the examples I've got some arcane and some arrow cards. I should have picked the death cards, now I think about it. So we've got cost here, title, the range, so that's obviously the distance away. That you can
the number of zones,
number of actions, the defense they're going to use, and then sort of whatever damage effects and stuff. And there's, what did you say, is there sort of 8-ish per heart?
For combat it varies.
So there's 9 here for the arcane.
Yeah, each heart has 15 abilities, but depends on the heart. Some hearts have more combat. For example, the time has like only 4 or 5 combat abilities. and then devastation. I think they're all ability combat abilities. So it depends. It ranges between 4 and 12, something like that.
Yeah.
So it depends on the heart.
You know what question's coming, don't you? You're not going to want this. Which one's your favorite heart?
Oh yeah. Oh, I don't mind. Yeah, death, of course. I really like death.
Which isn't death, because death. There's something wrong with both of us. That's what we've discovered.
Whoops. I like healing. And it's very useful to have healing in this game, because if you it's kind of assume you're going to have some kind of healing, and when you don't, you're quite screwed. So since you have the option, I like doing that generally. When there's the option for your character to have something, I especially when it comes to something like healing, I kind of make it like mandatory that it's like, why wouldn't you take some sort of healing? So it's like, or at least have a companion which is going to be able to heal you.
Yeah.
The very least is have. So if you don't have any kind of healing, you're going to be screwed. Like, I mean, imagine playing World of Warcraft without the healer. It's just, well, right now it's quite, I suppose it's easy. You have downtime and all that. But imagine in a fight without healer, you're not going to survive.
Yeah,
Well, it's kind of
my
the same
troll
here.
priest. I was a troll priest for most encounters.
Yeah, so I really like the restoration heart because of that. It's nice to have some healing, but there are other hearts which also have some self-healing abilities and all that. So yeah, I like that restoration death combination. It's fun to have healing abilities on one side, and then all death and summoning skeletons on the other side. It's fun to combine those two.
Fantastic. So death and healing.
That's a combo I usually enjoy.
because death, we said it before, is still healing. That's healing when you've healed a little bit late, and then you just need to heal them back to life.
Yes.
And then if you're early, you can heal them.
Yeah, I've always been a healer, so in most games I enjoy healing.
So I've got a question here from 3 Cups.
Oh, no, you don't have. You can't craft your own abilities. That will be absolutely hell to balance, I'm afraid. So you can craft your own builds and combine and all that, but not to the degree of. I did something like that with Ruthless Heaven's Boundless Fate, where you can kind of choose. You have this base ability, and or skill are called skills there, and you can tweak them and add. It's like, okay, I want this one to deal more damage and to reduce the casting time or whatever. You can tweak them as you level up, and it was a hell to balance and to get right and all that. So I said, no, I'm going to stick to. Actually, the first edition of Riftbreakers, since, like I said before, it had ranks. So it had 5 ranks instead of levels. It had ranks. So each time you ranked up, all your abilities will go up in the rank. Or actually, the other way around. Sorry, in order for you to rank up, you had to rank up your abilities first. So yeah, there you slowly increased the number of things each ability will do, but it was just a mess. It was a mess. So this is much simpler. And since the crafting is very flexible, there you can choose, okay, I want this weapon to do this, to maybe light up as a torch so I can illuminate caves or whatever, but also throw fireballs. I mean, you can, or I want this belt to protect me against bludgeoning damage. So you have all that detailed crafting system. I think it makes up for not being able to really customize your abilities, because like I said, it will be too much. They're already, well, multiply 15 times 12. I don't know how much is that, but there's a lot of different abilities. So yeah, there's a lot of, you can pick and choose and really narrow down exactly the kind of build you want to make.
Fantastic. So from playing it, I'm getting face to face is going to be really the best place for it, I think. But you did say that someone's building the forged components on
Foundry.
Discord? On Foundry,
yeah. Somebody, they're almost done. I think they were talking about today. They showed some stuff, and I think they should have it by next week, something like that. So yeah, people want to use Foundry with it. And there's people who have used also, they made some Obsidian modules, and yeah, they're slowly building up stuff and tools for the game, which is really cool.
Fantastic.
I'm very happy.
Send me. I was just trying to do it while you were talking and answering that question. I can't. But yeah, send me a permanent invite for your Discord. And
Okay.
what I'll do? No, I'll put it. I'll put it into the
Actually,
video
no.
description.
Well, you mean for the Discord? Yeah, because you are already on the Discord.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I didn't know. I can't share it in here. But obviously,
Yeah.
if you can create me a permanent one, I can put it into the video link,
Sure.
and then people can then come and find the Discord and find the Foundry links and
Okay.
stuff.
Sounds good. Yeah.
Because we're all playing a lot more remote nowadays. I see this perfectly
Yeah.
face to face. My Sunday group will love this. Weirdly, my Tuesday group will love it. But we're all Roll20 people, and we're too stupid to understand how Foundry works.
It's too complicated for me to.
Yeah, I use it for the Enemy Within campaign.
Oh yeah, because of everything's automated.
But I bought it. I bought the whole
yeah,
thing.
of course. Yeah.
So that works, but I can't get my head around it. But because I've used Roll20 for too long.
Yeah, same here. Same with me.
Yeah, old age. But yeah. So I think you've answered what you've got coming up as well. So we've got.
Well, no, yeah, we didn't. You asked me if there's something coming up for Riftbreakers, and I forgot. I not this year, because this year, I mean, next month I'm releasing Quarry of Flesh, and I think the second edition of Warlord Ascendant is going to be ready for December, and then early next year, if I finally manage to sit down and finish it, it will be the Across a Thousand Dead Worlds standalone expansion, which is called Across a Thousand Hollow Vaults. That one should be early next year, and the second edition of Sacrifice also. But yeah, sometime next year I want to release the expansion for Riftbreakers, which is called Guilds and Raids. So you get an idea what you're going to get in.
Big parties.
Yeah, you're going to be able to have your
Leroy
guild,
Jenkins. Leroy.
Hopefully. You're going to have your guild with all your companions, and then organize raids. I wanted to do it a little bit different. Instead of what you would expect going to fight these big monsters and all that, I want you to have this, since you're going to have a guild with all these NPC followers there. Of course, you can have players there as well, but my idea is always from a solo perspective. So you'll have this bunch of followers, and you will send them into a raid, and so it will be almost like a commanding strategy mini game, fighting against bosses.
Wow.
Which throw different areas. You'll have to move them. I don't know. I'm still thinking about it, but I think that will be the core thing for the expansion.
Yeah, no, that sounds amazing, because our guild had 4 players in it, which was just the 4 of us that used to play. No one else ever joined it, because we played we played it on every Sunday night. That was it.
Yeah.
So we didn't do anything exciting. So, question from Adam.
Yeah, new factions. Factions, as in, well, they're already in-game factions. So you have a bunch of all that is explained briefly on the lore section of the book. I didn't want to go too deep into all that, but yeah, you have a few factions. You have the kind of group that leads the council of the city, and then you have this kind of humans only group that blame these strangers for all the things that are happening. They think that the portals and all the rifts are happening because of the strangers. They consider them monsters too. So you have this kind of reactionary, xenophobic movement going against you, which sometimes cause quite a lot of trouble in the district, which is reserved to strangers only of Cargelos. And I don't know. You have there are a few different factions and then it will be really cool to flesh them out a little bit and to cause a little bit of trouble with all those different elements that you have in the game. So before I add new factions, I would rather explore what I have and make them a little bit more significant.
Yeah, fantastic. And 3 Cups has spent a bit of time lurking Foundry, but yeah, we are.
It's
a really good engine. It really is.
Oh yeah, it's very, very good. It's, if you know what you're doing, I think it's probably the best option, but it's not for the casual gamer like me, which only got into VTTs 3 years ago because I refused to play it online until it was because of the pandemic. It was like, okay, if we want to keep playing, we have to play online. So
yeah,
And since then, we kept at it actually.
Yeah, it's because it's Roll20. It's just click and drag and
Yeah,
a
it's
lot of
just
it's up.
very.
But yeah, we'll share that to your Foundry, and I'm going to get you back early next year because obviously we should. I can't. Annoyingly, I was hoping to announce it today what we were talking about, and I'll talk to you off camera and just confirm stuff. But I haven't quite been able to confirm what I wanted to confirm. So yeah, we'll get you back. Should we expect Black Friday sales? Yeah, of course there'll be Black Friday sales.
I don't do
You don't
sales
sell stuff.
through my site. It's just if the couple of physical books that I sell through my own site, I have such small margins that if I have any kind of sale, I'm just going to give them for free, basically. So I don't do sales through my site. And then, well, all my books through RPG and all that, I'm opted into all their site sales. So yeah, there's definitely going to be some sort of sale for sure.
And
all the Christmas sale, all the horror sale, all my games are always opted in for all those sales.
Yeah, and the news that we can't tell you because I can't discuss it because I can't confirm it.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Which will, I think probably January, February. I should be able to get you back on, and we should be able to
talk about all that stuff.
Yeah, we can officially announce it and stuff, which is so annoying. It's so bloody annoying.
Yeah, you've been working on it for a while now too.
I know. But I think we'll leave it there. I think there's no more questions. So, Alex, it's been amazing having you on. For everyone, for your comments, thank you for joining in.
Well,
and
yeah, so much for
I am really surprised that you thought I'd hate it.
No, I didn't say you'll hate it. I just said it's not going to be your cup of tea.
Maybe if I'd explained that I'd spent hours playing Warcraft.
Then I would say you're going to love this game.
You're going to love it, and I'd go, no, I hate it because I'm just like that. I just go with the opposite. So yeah, we'll get you back on. I think probably January, February sort of time. We should have hopefully, fingers crossed, a big announcement as well.
Yeah, sounds great
to be able to do that. But so everyone, thank you for watching. Thanks for comments. Obviously for Agile and my ear trumpet for the memberships as well. That's really generous. And I'm back live tomorrow night on my other channel, the Tabletop Tabletop, playing Black Powder and Brimstone with Ben Tobit, who's actually the writer and creator of it, is running it. So I'm looking forward to that because I like my Morkborg. And it's it's a very interesting world. So Black Powder, what I remember is if you roll ones, your gun blows up. That's all I seem to remember. So I'm going to stick with swords. Thanks again, Alex, and everyone else. We'll see you soon. Cheers then. Bye.
Bye.